morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today we need to talk about the next gem pack. And look, I know some of you guys really appreciate me bringing you the news from China, because they are doing weird stuff that we just aren't. I'm also well aware that some people out there aren't so worried about hearing this news, but the gem pack is the exception. This is the news where everybody starts talking, where everybody gets interested. When it comes to cool Chinese news, this is about as high and as cool and as awesome as it gets. There's a new gem pack, and these generally tend to come along with a bunch of new stuff in. Now, for anyone that may have forgotten, this is Gem Pack Volume 3. Gem Pack 1 was the one that had Sprigatito on the cover, and it had those really cool Pokemon Horizons artworks, which were kind of, I still need to get that for Coco actually. That is still one I need to make an effort to go and try and find. And then Gem Pack number 2 was the one that came with a whole bunch of evolutions, and we all went, oh, okay, that's a pretty big deal. Well, Gem Pack 3 is coming along here now, and this one's got a kind of spooky theme, and I'm gonna be honest with you, spooky theme gem pack coming out right in time for Halloween. I cannot be the only one that thinks this is actually awesome. Yay, big fan. Now, what you get here is we got the booster pack with Gengar on, and you get 4 randomly selected cards in each pack, all of which are foil, and then we've got varying levels of awesome. So to start off with the low levels. The low levels here are your reverse holos, and we've actually got 6 different versions, which is honestly a little bit annoying, but there we go. So you've got the energy version, which you see on Clefable here. You've got the Pokeball version you can see on Meowth, and then the Master Ball version that you can see on Meowth. All of these are foil, all of these are exclusive. We've then got what I'm going to call the Star Foil, as we see on this Gengar. The Kaleidoscope Foil that we can see on the Clefable. These are not official terms, that's what I'm calling them. And then we've got the Gold Stamped Foil, which is your Logo Foil. Logo Foil is a word I want to use here. Oh, yeah, that is pretty gosh darned awesome, frankly, ladies and gentlemen. That is pretty gosh darned awesome. So this is like the lowest level, okay? This is as bad as it goes. Now, for what it's worth, the Pokeball and Energy Symbol are commons. And then, well, I mean, Circle, I'm assuming that's common. And then the uncommon, the little gem, whatever you want to call it, is your Star Foil and your Kaleidoscope Foil. And then we've got 1 star is your Master Ball, and 2 star is your Logo Foil. This is very important because we've got pull rates. I'll show you them in a moment. Okay. So they're the first 6. They're absolutely fine. Nothing terribly exciting, but they're kind of cool. All right. Then we have EXs like Clefable EX, Bayonet EX, and Lycanroc EX. Bayonet nominally probably the best of them. None of these really set the world on fire. But these are star rarity. Puts them on the same level as the Master Ball Reverse Holo. Cool. Sounds like a plan. We've then got 2 star rarities, so we've got here things like Super Rod, Nest Ball, and Switch. And you can see here that they are foil pattern, and they've got the logo on. They're actually seemingly the same as the Gengar. Of course they are. They are 2 star rarity. So the ones with the logos on are your 2 star rarity, so we're going up as we go along here. But 2 star rarity, ladies and gentlemen, is not where it ends. We can go better. There are 3 star rarity cards. Now, in terms of the 3 star rarities, I'd be a little bit sad if I got one of the energy. We've been shown Fighting Energy, Metal Energy, and Luminous Energy. Okay. It's fine. Like, they're cool enough cards, but they're just foil and they've got the stamp on. The Pokemon and Trainer cards that are like this are 2 star rarity. These are 3-star rarity because they're energy. Not entirely sure why, but I'm just saying, when I show you the other 3-star rarity in a minute, you're going to look at these and go, man, I hope I don't pull the energy. That would make me a little bit sad. And yes, it would. Now, one of the 3-star rarities we've seen is your special illustration rare Arvum, the one that came around in Paldean Fates. And it is special illustration rare. It is stunning. It's not new or exciting. We've seen it before, but it is incredibly cool. So we could get an energy that's stamped. We could get a special illustration rare. Or we could get an illustration rare. They're also 3-star rarity. Take the Mimikyu that was our Elite Trainer Box promo. Take the Graveyard, which is a lovely so-so artwork. These ones are stunning and we love them. While we're here, you may also recognize this Miss Magius, and you may recognize this Morpeko. So far, so ordinary. We've seen these, we know what they are, they're cool, we love them. Would you really want these over a special illustration rare supporter? Arguably not. But I think we'd want them more than the foil energy. They're cool is what I'm saying. But this is where we get to the really fancy part of the pack. We have been shown 5 new illustration rares, artwork rares, including this Gengar. Oh, yeah. This is where it gets really good. Having these gem packs as a whole, they're really fun, right? You get a bunch of foil cards. I've shown you a bunch of different foil treatments that are coming along. I've shown you everything about this so far. They're very cool. They're the kind of products that if they released in the West, they'd be super popular because everybody loves fancy, shiny versions of cards. The difference here is it's not just them. It's also 5 new illustration rares, at least that we've been shown there could be more. So this Gengar is very obviously a reprint of the one from Paldean Fates. It's got the ability that once during your turn, you can switch your active with one of your bench, and then 2 energy, 100 plus sleep. It's one of these where, you know, we can go and just have a nice little look here, and it's a darkness type Pokemon with an ability in 2 energy, 100. Like, yeah, we get it. We know exactly what this card is. It's pretty obvious. Doesn't make it any less cool. And the artwork is stunning. But it keeps going. Check out the Cubone. I'm not a huge Cubone fan personally, although I did watch Detective Pikachu with my kids at the weekend and now they love Cubone. But also, look how adorable this artwork is. A couple of Cubone chilling on a bridge. Just wonderful. It's the one with Cheering Bone, by the way, that came around in 151. And as long as it's on your bench, your Marowak does an extra 30 damage. Again, we can't actually see, and they are alternate art. But all we need to actually do here is have a look at the Pokemon. And then from whether they've got an ability, how much their attack does, etc., we can figure out which one it is. Slightly annoying, but we can figure out which one it is. I think a lot of people are going to love this new Meowth. Look at the artwork, look how cute it is. This one's not content to chill on a bridge. It's chilling on a building, but you've got all of the lights and everything else, and it's another one of these which is just beyond wonderful. I live in constant terror that Okacheke is going to do one of these cards, and I'm then going to have to try and find a way to get the Okacheke card in these Chinese products, and I assure you, if it happens, I'm going to try and do it. But I would not be delighted about it. The Meowth, by the way, we've got a couple of attacks. It's pretty obvious this is the one, also from 151. The first attack is flip a coin, if head, switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with their active Pokemon. We're not talking about a really good card that's seen a huge amount of play or anything silly like that, but the play is largely irrelevant here for these Pokemon. It's just about the wonderful artwork. Chandelure is a Pokemon I love and one I've been a big fan of, especially in my Pokken tournament phase. And here we've got the one that came around in Obsidian Flames. The first attack does 50 damage more for each energy attached to your opponent's active, along with the 10 base. You may be realizing that these Pokemon I'm showing you here, you're probably looking at these and going, oh, I forgot all about that Pokemon. Or, oh yeah, I remember when Wassy made a video about that, years ago. Yeah. These are not the most memorable Pokemon. I love the Chandelure though, adore the artwork, it's absolutely phenomenal. And then the last one we've got here is Ceruledge, and specifically the one that came around in Paldea Evolved, that for 2 energy does 50 and heals 30, or for 3 energy does 100, but 100 more to an EX or Pokemon V. And yes, it does specifically say Pokemon V, because that's where we were when this came out. Very important to note, some of these Pokemon have actually had illustration rares. China are very deliberately, I assume deliberately, I could be wrong, but they are not repeating those Pokemon. So it's a different Cerulege to the one we previously had, a different Chandelure, etc. So we have these 5 new illustration rares, and that is the big hook here. This set as a whole is wonderful just because of all of the lovely foiling and everything else. But for our purposes outside of China, we've got more exclusive illustration rares. And if I've shown you any in this video and you look at them and go, well, hang on a second, that's my favorite Pokemon, that's my favorite artist, or some other reason why you have to get hold of this card, they'll be doing the rounds on the secondary market. They're just going to be a bit of a pain. Just before we finish, I did promise you that we would have a look at the pull rates here. What we've got is essentially 50% of the cards are going to be common. That is half. A quarter, or half of the other half, are going to be uncommon, your little diamond symbol. 18.42% are going to be 1-star rarity. 4.77 are going to be 2-star rarity. And 1.81% are going to come out as 3-star rarities. I did a very small amount of maths here, and I think that's about 1 in 14 packs is going to give you a 3-star rare. So, look, if you end up getting an energy, unless you really want the energy, in which case that's fine, but if you end up getting an energy rather than one of these exclusive illustration rares, that would honestly make me very, very sad. By the way, you can also see on the screen there are only 9 illustration rares. So the ones I've shown you in this video are the only ones. They've given numbers of each type of card coming around. So the good news is that there are only 9, but they're coming around, well, 3-star rares are coming around 1 in every 14 packs, just under, and then there's actually 16 types of them. Good luck, ladies and gentlemen. Good luck. But I've told you everything you need to know, and now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about all of this. Tell me which of these cards you want in the comment section. Get us! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, and all kinds of fun things. And of course, get shout-outs on the channel, like the lovely Tamberlin, who's been a support of ours for a long time now and seems to be a very lovely person. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.